Picture this. 1492, a lone sailor named Christopher Columbus sets off on an adventure across the vast ocean. His goal: reaching India by sailing west. Now, why India? Well, Europe in the 15th century was all about trade, and India was famous for its spices, things like cinnamon, cloves, and pepper. These spices weren't just for making food taste good. They were used in medicines and even perfumes. So imagine the excitement when someone found a new way to get there. When Columbus finally landed on the shores of the Americas, thinking he was in India, it was a moment of discovery. Not only had he found a new route, but he opened up a whole new world. Now, here's where things get interesting. Just before Columbus took his famous journey, an African explorer named Amerigo Vespucci also set sail. His route took him farther south along the coast of Africa, and he ended up discovering Brazil. The crazy thing is, Vespucci sailed without any outside help. He didn't have the backing of a powerful country or tons of money, but he had something else: a dream and a good map. Why am I telling you this story? Well, because sometimes the greatest discoveries happen when you think outside the box. And in today's episode, we are going on a discovery of our own. We're diving into a part of the Bible that most people don't know about. It's a story so intriguing that if it were discovered in modern times, it would make headlines around the world. Let's start with what we all know. In the beginning, according to the story of creation, there was nothing. It was empty, dark, formless, and without life. Then God said, "Let there be light," and the universe exploded into existence in just 6 days. On the first day, God created light and separated it from darkness. He called the light day and the darkness night. On the second day, God said, "Let there be a space between the water to separate the water from the water." That's how the sky was created. On the third day, God said, "Let the land come up from the water." And so the earth and the seas were formed. On the fourth day, God made 2 great lights, the sun to govern the day and the moon to govern the night. He also created the stars. On the fifth day, God created all kinds of living creatures in the water and in the sky. And on the sixth day, God made all the animals on the land and finally, humans, the pinnacle of creation. And so the creation of the world was complete. This story has shaped religions, cultures, and the beliefs of billions of people. But what if there's more to this creation story than we know? Enter the Jasher, also known as Little Genesis. Its name means upright or pious. It's a fascinating biblical text that holds an alternative narrative, a different perspective on the creation of the world. Unlike the well-known Genesis, which we hear during Christmas time, the Jasher tells a story of creation that happened over 1,300 years, not 6 days. According to this ancient text, the process of creation was much longer, more drawn out, and included some dramatic events like the fall of angels, the Nephilim, and even an ancient flood. Here's how the story goes. At the start, God spoke, and the world was born. Light appeared, separating the daytime from nighttime. Water gathered in one place, forming seas and land, while dry ground emerged. Plants and trees started growing. On the second day, God began making creatures from slime, including sea monsters and other large creatures. On the third day, the angels were created, but some rebelled, becoming the fallen ones. Humanity, Adam and Eve, were then created, placed in the Garden of Eden to take care of it. However, they didn't stay innocent for long. Adam and Eve gave in to temptation, eating from the tree of knowledge, an act that led to their expulsion from the garden. Their son, Cain, later killed his brother Abel. Humans continued to multiply, but as they grew in number, they became wicked. People in those days lived extremely long lives. Even ordinary people reached ages that we now associate with the longest human lifespans ever recorded. Some people like Methuselah lived for over 900 years. Then came the Great Flood. The rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights, covering the mountains. Most creatures perished, but a few found safety by building an ark, like Noah and his family and some pairs of animals. After the flood, the rainbow appeared as a promise from God, signifying hope and renewal. Later, humanity began to populate the earth again. The story of the Tower of Babel is also told, explaining the origin of different languages and the scattering of people across the world. This alternate Genesis account reveals a fascinating perspective on humanity's origins. It highlights key moments like the creation of the world, the fall of man, the Great Flood, and the Tower of Babel. What makes the story even more intriguing is the central role played by Adam and Eve. Their actions have consequences that shape not just their lives, but the lives of their descendants. Imagine if the story of creation was different. What if the world wasn't made in 6 days, but over many years? How would that change the way we view the world and our place in it? It's these kinds of questions that make the Jasher such an exciting discovery. It gives us a glimpse into a different way of understanding the world. The Jasher doesn't just tell a different story. It challenges us to look at our world through a different lens. It raises questions about the nature of good and evil, faith and doubt, and the relationship between humans and the divine. It's a reminder that our understanding of the world is always evolving, and that there are multiple ways of interpreting the same event. The Jasher isn't just a story. It's a reflection of the human condition. It talks about the struggles we face, the choices we make, and the consequences that follow. It's a mirror to our own humanity, showing both the good and the bad. You might be wondering why we haven't heard this story before. Well, the Jasher was once considered an important part of the Hebrew Bible. However, over time it was removed from official religious texts. This might have been because its teachings differed from the more widely accepted Genesis account, or perhaps it was seen as too violent or disturbing for some audiences. Whatever the reason, this ancient text almost disappeared. Luckily, fragments were found, and today we can explore its fascinating story. In a world where many believe they already know the story of creation, the Jasher comes as a surprise. It reminds us that there's always more to discover, whether in our faith or our understanding of the world. This ancient text isn't just a story, it's an invitation to question, to explore, and to believe in the power of discovery. So let me ask you, what do you think of this alternate creation story? Does it change your perspective on the world or our beginnings? Share your thoughts. Remember, the greatest discoveries often happen when we dare to look beyond what we know. And who knows, maybe there are more hidden stories waiting for us to uncover them. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more biblical mysteries, click here to watch more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.